Ladies of Reddit, what's something a guy has done, intentional or not, that instantly made you think, wow, he's different in a good way?
Story 1.
He broke up with me because he was moving out of state for a job, and I just wasn't going to be able to follow him. He brought me flowers, snacks, dinner, cards, and I don't remember what else to soften the blow. When he came back to visit, I was struggling hard, as in I could barely afford to feed myself. When he stopped by to see me, he had arms full of groceries to stock my fridge and pantry for weeks. He also kept trying to give me cash, but I refused. After he left, I found money stuck under something on my counter. Can't remember what. He died a few years later in a car accident. Chris, you were one of a kind. I'll never miss the opportunity to tell the world what a uniquely amazing human you were. This made me cry. My ex also passed away unexpectedly. Seizure. He was incredible. I was in residency and would cancel dates all the time because I was exhausted or overworked. Not only did he understand, he would get a week's worth of food delivered to my apartment every time I canceled. Flowers on almost every single date. John was special. I hope you find solace and happiness after your ex's passing.
Story 2.
When my husband was my boyfriend, I noticed that he always acknowledged everyone in the room. For instance, whenever we were in a room with my entire family, he would approach absolutely everyone. My dad, mom, sister, cousins, uncles, aunts, friends, and be able to establish a conversation and a relationship with them eventually. Even my relative's dog knew him to be the only one that could set aside some time just to pet him. At first, I thought that my boyfriend is just a social being, which I was appreciative of seeing as how I personally have been always a socially inept, awkward individual. But eventually this gift of his reaped dividends too, as when a close cousin of mine, let's say, fell in with a bad sort of crowd and was in desperate need of help and support. The only person she felt comfortable reaching out to was my boyfriend, who was then able to pass word to the rest of the family and also rescue her.
Story 3.
One of our first dates, a teen waitress spilled a whole glass of water on him when it was super busy and she was rushing about. She started apologizing with tears almost running down her face, and he took the time to console her, not even worrying about his clothes. He gave her a moment to breathe without the other customers by pretending to look busy with her before she went on her way feeling better. I've seen too many waitstaff get treated poorly, but watching him take care of her leads me to believe he's going to be an amazing father one day. I once dropped a steaming hot fresh pizza on a guy because I was rushing, and I tripped and it burned his arm and stained his clothes, and he was so nice to me, and when my manager came over, he apologized to my manager and said it wasn't my fault and that he was cool waiting for a new pizza and still paying for it. We didn't charge him for anything, and while I didn't fall in love with him or anything, the kindness he showed me when I literally burned him is something I'll never forget.
Story 4.
I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I wear a pump, which is basically a machine that helps track my blood sugar and give me insulin accordingly. When my blood sugar gets too low or too high, the pump makes noises, a low tone for low BS and a high tone for high BS. My significant other figured those tones out. One night, I was sitting on the couch scrolling, and my pump signaled I had low blood sugar. He was in the kitchen, and without a word being said, went to the fridge and brought me a juice box. I didn't know he knew, and it felt really good to feel understood, and that someone was actually taking the time to know me and my disability. We had only been dating for 2 to 3 months at this point. I'm a type 1 diabetic too, 3 to 4 months into dating my now wife. She comes to me one day saying she'd done research into the CGM I use and said if I ever wanted to, she would like to install the app that lets her see my levels via my phone. She said she knew I could look after myself, but she liked the idea of someone else one day also being able to help. Beat me fell in love so quickly. 1-year anniversary coming up. I am sorry to get grim, but my nephew died almost 20 years ago because he took an insulin shot and then vomited up his dinner because he had stomach flu and he got low blood sugar. His girlfriend slept at his side as he died in his sleep that night. Being able to remotely get real-time alarms on your phone and your loved ones' phones is fantastic. It would have saved him. Their baby was born 8 months later. We still see her sometimes. 18-year-old now. Also type 1. Her mom monitors her blood 24/7 by phone app.
If you enjoy our channel, we'd love to invite you to become a member. Joining is easy. Just click the join button on our channel homepage or beneath any of our videos. Your support means the world to us, and as a member, you'll gain access to exclusive perks and content. Thank you for being part of our community. We look forward to welcoming you as a member soon.
Story 5.
When I started dating my guy, he knows how obsessed I am with rocks and beach combing. We live on the beach, and I'll go look for shells for hours, and he never complains. The first road trip we took together, he took me to the biggest natural rock formation on the West Coast, Morro Bay. I'm a grown-ass adult, and he never made me feel stupid for my love of rocks and collecting. And when we got there, he said, "I know how much you love rocks, so I brought you to the biggest one I could. You just can't take this one home, unfortunately," something along the lines of that. I start crying immediately, because I was always made fun of by my previous relationships for it. My wife is a geologist and geophysicist. I constantly tell people, you know that phase that every kid goes through, where at the end of the day, their pockets are full of all the cool rocks they found. Yeah, she never outgrew that. I love her to pieces, and her obsession with rocks is wonderful. Makes birthday gifts way more affordable. She wants rocks, not gemstones.
Story 6.
I went out with this guy I was newly dating, plus 3 other friends one time. We went to the food court to eat, and all of 5 of us had different food choices, so we went on our own to order. Unfortunately, my food took longer to make, and eventually I saw the 4 of them, including the guy I was dating, back on the table with all their food. Finally, when I got my food, I went to our table to see the 3 of my friends digging on their plates while his was untouched. I asked, "Is something wrong with your food? Why haven't you touched it?" He said, "I was waiting for you." I swear I never forgot that moment. I'm now married to him. Edit. Let me just add that my food took about 5 minutes longer than theirs. I was already expecting them to be eating ahead, and I didn't, nor expected him or the group to be waiting for me. It was the gesture of him waiting for me while everyone else was eating that made me feel that this guy's a keeper.
Story 7.
It was my second night staying over at his place. He could tell that I didn't sleep well the first time, so when he asked why, I told him that I always have trouble falling and staying asleep, and that I usually do things like take melatonin gummies to help. So when I went over there to spend the night a second time, he had bought an Android charger. He had iPhone for me to use melatonin gummies and this lavender-scented massage oil. Because lavender is supposed to help calm you down, that he used to give me this glorious back massage before we went to sleep. I still didn't sleep well, but the effort won me over. LOL. He ended up being a major douchebag in the end. But this was still one of the kindest gestures I've ever been shown. So, I try not to let his douchebaggery taint the memory for me.